Good morning, everyone. Happy Thursday. Hello and welcome. I'm glad you're here today. Usually you're not seeing me on a Thursday, so I'm excited to be able to spend a little time with you guys today. I am going to be crafting some Christmas decor. Hopefully you were able to see our release on Tuesday, so we'll talk a little bit about that. And yeah, just let me know you're here as you're hopping on. I would love to see who's joining us today, and I'll call out some people in the comments as I see those come through. So hello, Carol. Still home recovering from hip replacement. I hope you're feeling better soon. I know can be a longer road to recovery, so hopefully that's a speedy one. Good morning, Paula in Virginia. Debbie's here this morning. Hi, Debbie. Hello, Mindy. Your order gets there today. I'm so glad. Our shipping team has been hard at work getting orders out from Tuesday and yesterday. So hopefully those of you that ordered earlier this week will be getting those orders soon, and you can start crafting Christmas treats and Christmas gift decor and whatever is on your list for the holidays. Hi, Julianne in the Twin Cities. Martha's here just next door in Marshalltown. Hi, Patty. And hello, Martha Joe from France. From Paris, you should be out doing something else today on your vacation. We missed you at Stamp Joy, but I hope you're having a great time on your trip. Hello, Julie, up in Canada. Awesome. And Betty's here today, and Jill and Karen in Colorado. Ooh, you get fall break today, so you get to watch live. We actually have fall break starting tomorrow. Our kids have school off tomorrow and Monday. We didn't really plan much for the family. Our middle daughter, her birthday is on Saturday, so we're having a 10-year-old sleepover party on Saturday. If that sounds fun to anybody, come on over. I am in planning mode, so I've got all the things ordered, I think. So first time, I guess we did a sleepover party. It was a smaller one, so we're going a little bit bigger with this year's sleepover. And then fall break for me usually means we need to get all of the winter clothes prepared. Is anybody else in that mode also? It's starting to get a little chillier. All my kids have grown out of their coats and their winter clothes, and so it's time to go shopping this weekend and get some things figured out before it gets too cold. And then we're that family that sends our kid to school in a windbreaker when it's 0 degrees. Not that that's ever happened before. Like Susan would say, ask me how I know. Sometimes it sneaks up on me, this cold weather. So that's my goal for this weekend. So yes. Hi, Joan out in Indiana. Oh, Laura, you share a birthday with my daughter, Charlie. Your birthday's on Saturday, too. That's awesome. All right, well, you guys, we are going to create a little 3D gift today, and we are going to be using the Giftables Cute Carton. So if you haven't heard about the Cute Carton yet, it is our 100 plus freebie for the month of October. So the rest of this month, with orders of $100 or more, you will get our Giftables Cute Carton. I know Susan has already done a live kind of showing you what type of things you could put in the Cute Carton and how you could decorate it. I am going to do a little bit of the same today, but we are going to make a decor piece. And then we're also going to talk about, if you saw our release on Tuesday, we came out with a set called Take a Bow, not Take a Bow, spelled the same, but kind of a play on words there. So Take a Bow has lots of 3D bows in it, and I'm going to give you some tips and tricks, and we're going to put them together so you guys can see what the intention was, because I know when you're looking at just the web image, it doesn't always give you a great picture of how they go together or what would be some tips for putting them together. So we're going to start with that, and then we're going to create some little tea light votive holders. Have you guys done those before? I love to make this kind of holiday decor where you have the windows with the vellum backing, and then you can put a little electronic or battery operated, I guess, battery operated tea light inside, and you have yourself a really fun little decor piece for the mantle. So that's what we are going to do today. All right, let's get down to business. Debbie, you are loving the giftable carton. Awesome. I've seen lots of fun things with this little carton, and I love seeing little Halloween treats, and of course it's good for any holiday or occasion if you want to put a little birthday treat in it. But here's what we're going to be making today. So I have these small little cartons with a tea light inside. So these are the battery operated, like I said, the battery operated tea lights inside. You guys have seen these, right? They kind of have a flicker to them, and then you just click them off and on at the bottom. So I got them, I think they have them at lots of different places. I didn't try the dollar store. They might have Dollar Tree ones. These are just from Michael's. Target was all out, but the normal places like that, Walmart, Target, Michael's, have these little LED tea lights that you can switch on and off, and then you can place them inside your little cute carton, and then they kind of glow from the inside. So something like this. So this is what we're gonna make today. I think we're gonna make, well, I know we're going to make this one here with the nativity scene, but I did do a second version over on the right. But first I wanna walk you guys through our Take a Bow set. So let me show you. Here's what that looks like. I've got it on my magnetic card here. So these bows, when you cut them, of course, they're all folded out, just flat, and then you need to assemble them. So there's lots of different parts and pieces that work together. I have a set that's cut out of red cardstock, just our cherry pop cardstock, which is a perfect color for holiday bows. I'm gonna take out the pieces, kind of separate the pieces that are actual folding bows versus the pieces that are the tails and extras that go on the bows. So you have 4 tail pieces and then you have 4 bows. So we're going to move these aside because you don't have to do any kind of folding or assembly with these, but we're going to start by putting these together. So I think one of my biggest tips with these is you need to make your cardstock a little more pliable as you get started. If you just take and fold this over, you're going to get that crease right wherever you fold it, and it's not going to make your bow look nice. So we're going to go back to kind of our, I don't know, we did this a lot with paper quilling, but you sort of loosen your paper using a pencil, kind of fold that, pull that paper around the pencil to loosen it a little bit so you don't get that crease when you then take the bow and fold it together. I don't know, Whitney, if you're listening, if we have like a pencil that's more round, I told her this one was going to be fine, but it has some ridges and grooves in it. So if you have a pencil that's completely round and doesn't have the any ridges in it, that's going to be the easiest way to kind of mold this paper around the bow. I hear Whitney, she's coming. Hi, you have a pencil that doesn't have ridges.
Like
okay.
A normal pencil
Yeah.
like that? Does
well,
that work?
this one kind of has ridges too. My kids, you know, at Halloween, they make those printed pencils that are like perfectly, just perfectly flat and straight. This will work, but that's kind of what I was getting at. If you guys have some kind of tool that is just completely round and you can sort of fold your paper around it so that it starts to get a little bit of a curl to it. So when you do go to adhere it around the back, you're not, yay, you found one.
Is that what
yes.
you're talking about? Okay.
Yes, this one is just completely round, no ridges on this one. And that's just gonna work to smooth out that paper a little bit better. Yes, a pen would work too. Melissa uses a bone folder to curve her cardstock. So yeah, you can kind of, depending on what you have on hand, this one's really, I like something completely smooth because you can see how much easier it is for me to just hold my thumb against the pencil and then kind of just pull at the cardstock and start to turn it and round it. When you have this one with the ridges, it's hard to, you're kind of fighting those ridges as you pull the cardstock. So a little bit easier here with something that is completely smooth. All right, so we've got a couple of them that have started to be rounded. And then these are kind of fun. We built these little etch marks into the die so that when you put it together, you're going to see a little bit more dimension in the bow. You guys got all kinds of ideas for what to use for this process. Somebody else said a knitting needle, a scoring tool. If you have one of those ball scoring tools, works as well. Just something to loosen up the cardstock and get it to be more pliable, so as you're wrapping it, you're not going to get those creases in your paper. And then this one, this is a fun design. This is the one I used on the box or on the Cute Carton that I showed you. So it makes basically a four looped bow. So we'll take that one and just kind of form each of these loops. Veronica says, my bow's cracked before I learned about breaking in the paper fibers. Yes. And Debbie's asking, where is the live that Susan made showing this box? I'm sure somebody's got a link to that, or you can head to our Facebook page just on the main Tailored Expressions page. And then if you click videos at the top, the videos tab should have all of our live videos in there. It wasn't too long ago. I think it was at the beginning of this month because that's when this Cute Carton launched for purchase. Okay, so we have these where we have loosened those paper fibers, so it's going to make it a lot easier to fold this into a bow. And you can choose whatever kind of adhesive you like to use to put these together. You could use glue dot, you could use liquid glue. I don't prefer liquid glue because you do have to kind of hold it in place, and then by the end I'm getting my fingers all sticky. I'm going to get you guys a little bit closer in here so you can see this put together. I'm just going to use a tape runner, and I'm going to run a little bit of adhesive in the back center part of this bow, and then I'm going to take one of the little loops and fold that onto the adhesive. Now you might need to add some more adhesive here as we fold in the next loop, and those two loops kind of overlap each other. And then we'll add some more adhesive here. If you're using glue dots, you could just add another glue dot as you continue to move on. And then the very last loop here is just going to fold into the center, and you're going to push that tab down. And then whatever you use to adhere your bow is going to give you some extra stability on that adhesive in the center part. So I've been using our foam sticky circles, just putting a foam sticky circle behind there, and that gives it a little bit of lift off of your paper so you're not squishing the loops of your bow. So that's what I've been using to adhere these down. Now you can see if you want to, this tail works really nicely with this bow. So if you wanted to add tails to your bow, you could do that. I'm not sure these other ones, you can see how that one would look. Sort of a mix and match option here. This one is a little bit short, so I probably wouldn't go with that one, but it's not horrible. So there's one bow. Let's go ahead and put these other three together just so we have a complete set, but they're all going to go together really similarly. Just kind of meet them up in the back of the bow. And they can overlap each other, but they don't have to overlap each other. This is the first one I started with where I didn't quite get my paper fibers broken down as much, but there's what that one looks like. And then this one can go on either of these as well. Here's what it looks like on this one. And then this one. And even this small one could work also. Then this one is a similar bow to that. It just has a little wider loop to it. This one I'm going to do so that the two tabs kind of meet up instead of overlap each other. Then you avoid any extra thickness on your bow. And then flip that over, and here's what that one looks like. Looks nice on there. Again, it could work on this one. So lots of mix and match options for these. There's what it looks like with tails. And then we'll finish up. This is the tiny one. And we'll do the meat in the center on this one too. So just meeting those two tabs together with a little bit of adhesive on the back. And then this bow goes really well with this small flag here. Just something like that. And it even works with the tails here. Now to finish off your bow, I don't have this, this is part of the die set. I must have left it over on my creative table, but there are a couple different options for a center to really finish off your bow and make it look polished. Let me pull in my sample here so you can see what I'm talking about. So you can die cut there's a square and there's a circle, and you can die cut them from the same color cardstock or even a different color cardstock if you want to make it look like your bow is wrapped with a different color ribbon in the center. So options for adding that little extra piece to just really finish off your bow and make it look polished. All right, so there's the bows. Hopefully that was helpful. Was that helpful? You guys have an idea now of how to assemble those bows when you get them, and they can be used on cards, they can be used on your gift card holders, your holiday gift wrapped packages. Really lots of options for those. Okay, so let's make a cute carton, shall we? This is the one we're gonna make together, and you can see again inside, if I open that up, I wanted to make it easy to open so that when you want to turn it off, I'm not sure, I tried to read the back of the packaging, it is very small. I'm not sure what the run time is for these little lights before the battery does run out. It looks like the battery is replaceable, so you could just unscrew that little piece there and replace the battery. But I wanted to make this so that you could get it open and easily close it up again, because when you want to turn off that light, you don't want to rip adhesive off. So I'm going to give you some tips on how I did that. But first, let's get started on just cutting the cute carton itself. I've got my sour gummy cardstock is what I decided to go with, and I have one full sheet of cardstock here, and I'm going to show you how you can cut out one full box from one sheet of cardstock. So this is what the cute carton die looks like. It does come with a couple other pieces that are nested inside that you can use to decorate or to cut windows into your sides if you want. I'm going to start by cutting this in half. So 5 1/2. So I have 2 equal sized pieces of cardstock. And then I'm going to grab my die cut machine and we're going to cut out 2 of these cute carton dies. So you will need to cut, every time you want to make one full box, you will need 2 pieces of cardstock cut with this die. All right, so put this down. Now, one of the tips I'm going to give you is this, we gave you quite a lot of extra space on the side for this little tab. And in order to get 2 full cuts out of one piece of cardstock, you're gonna have to hang off this side just slightly off of the edge. Also, if you're cutting windows into your box, you probably don't want the flap to be quite so thick so that it doesn't run into, kind of overlap your window. So I am just going to hang the flap about halfway off the side of the box, and that's going to be, or off of the cardstock, and that's going to be plenty of flap for us to do this project. So then I'll go ahead and cut both of these. And then we've got one more. do the same thing, just kind of making it a half flap on the side. And we'll cut this one. I've been in such a Christmas mood lately with all these projects and new products coming out that I've actually sort of forgotten that Halloween is coming. I just thought the other day that I haven't bought our Halloween candy yet. Kind of on purpose, I have been waiting so that I don't eat it all. I just have no willpower these days. Eat all the things. Whatever is in front of me gets eaten. Okay, so we have 2 pieces cut from sour gummy, and now we're going to cut windows into the 4 sides. So these larger, it's not quite a square, these larger rectangular pieces here, those are going to make up the sides of our box, and I want each side to have a window in it. So here's what we're going for, and you can see each side has a window. You could even decorate all the windows if you wanted to. I just went with, this is the front of my box, and then I wrapped the border around it, but you could definitely decorate each side of the box as well. So I went through my collection and I started looking for a shape that I wanted to cut into the front of the box, and I came up with this one. I thought it was really a fun one. So not quite traditional. Of course, you could use squares or circles or whatever you have, but I used our pennant stacklets, and it's the second smallest die in this set that fits the side of the box just perfectly. So we're gonna go ahead and center this. I'm able to just eyeball the center because I can see the score lines all the way around. I know it's probably hard to see in the video here, but if I hold it up, you can see the score lines that were created from cutting the die out. So I just centered the window or the pennant inside to cut this window. And it is important to think about, so because I want my point facing up, I want to put down the die in that direction as opposed to this direction, then my point would be facing down towards the bottom of the box. So just something to think about if you don't have a symmetrical die that you're using to cut your windows into your box. And we'll do the second one here. Hello, Joanne, out in Washington. Is it rainy this time of year out there? We did get a little rain here yesterday. It's kind of nice. Okay, so I'm on the other half of the box now, and we're cutting these other 2. Hello, is it Zan? Hi, Zan. Welcome. Your first live with Tailored Expressions. It's awesome. Okay. Send it back through the other direction. And now we have 4 windows cut into the front of the box, just like that. Now, another fun thing to do with these boxes, of course, if you're making this as a decor piece, I kind of like the idea of stepping it up a little bit and really making it look fancy, because it's probably something that either you or your recipient is going to keep and display. And so I took a stencil from our collection. This is the Snow Flurry, I believe it's called Snow Flurry Stencil, TESN 20. It has been in our collection for a long time, and we just don't retire it because it's so good. So this is what I'm going to use to pattern the background. Now you could, if you have, if you're making treat boxes, you could certainly do that and pattern all of them with your stencils. It's just going to take a little bit of extra time. You could also use, I've seen lots of cute cartons cut out of pattern paper too. So if you've got some extra pattern paper to use up, that's another great option. So I'm just going to take a little bit of adhesive, make sure that my cardstock stays in place down here on my glass mat. I'm using this glass mat because we're going to be using Sugar Cube ink, which is a little bit, it is a pigment ink, so it's that foam pad with the ink that stays wet for longer, and that's why I like the glass mat. It's easy cleanup. I don't have it on my placemat where my finger can get into it after I'm finished with the blending. I'll just take the glass mat away and we'll move on. I have my sponge dauber, and actually I need to grab my teal tape, tack down this stencil as well. We also have magnets that you can use to tack your stencil down. I think I just, out of habit, continue to grab my teal tape. It's just easy, simple way to keep the stencil in place while you're pouncing across the surface. I like to use a sponge dauber when I'm using the pigment inks. Because those pigment inks are a little bit thicker, I don't want to call them goopy, but you guys know what I mean. They're a little bit thicker than a dye ink, so they don't travel across the stencil quite as easily as the dye inks do with a blender brush, which is why I like to use the pouncing. They just have a little more resistance when you're using your blender brush with the pigment ink over the stencil. So this is going to give us kind of that snowy look. Which actually I'm not sure that a snowy look is technically correct for the nativity scene, but we're going for it. Okay. Looks good. I'll peek underneath and make sure I got it all. I didn't worry too much about the overlap on the bottom of the box. We'll do this next one because you're not going to see the bottom of the box anyway. Make sure my stencil's overlapping all the parts. I think that's good. And we'll go ahead and do this one. So I'm curious if you guys have a holiday gift or item that you make and give to friends each year. Do you do things like this, or do you do your own treat packaging? Do you do, I know lots of people like to give sets of cards for gifts. Maybe you give calendars. I'd love to hear what you're known for in your family group or your friend group. What kind of handmade things are you gifting to others? And a lot of times when you guys answer these questions, that helps our product development team as we think about products even for next year. So what we're always trying to ask ourselves is, what are people going to use these things for? Because that's Tailored Expressions' mission, is to share joy, and we do that by giving you guys products that you can use to share joy with others. Okay. Whoop. Done with that ink, and we'll pull this off now. Maybe I'll just go ahead and wash this. Save Whitney a little bit of trouble later because I've got all the stuff right here. I have my bottle with alcohol in it. If you came to Stamp Joy this past weekend, then this is going to look familiar. If you're coming to Stamp Joy virtual in November, then you're going to hear more about my little spray bottle. So I just sprayed it with alcohol, and I'm going to wipe it with this microfiber cloth. It's kind of hard once it's stuck down there to get it up, but you do need to wipe underneath and on the back as well. Get a little bit more alcohol on there. The great part about using alcohol to wash your stencils is that it dries super quickly. So if you're mass producing and you need to use, let's just say, a different color of ink, super easy, fast, ready to use again, which is what I love about it. And then the magnetic glass board, we can just move out of the way. I forgot to cut this one earlier, so I'm going to bring my die cut machine back in and we're going to cut the nativity border. And this is what I would consider the coordinating cardstock color for the Sour Gummy. So Sour Gummy is the base for our box, and then this color is Tropical Punch. So that's the color I would consider to be a coordinate. I do need to pop out some of these little pieces from the die to make sure that we get a good cut the next run through. Okay, I got them all. Just gonna line that up across the bottom of this piece here. If you want to tack it down, you can. I think mine's gonna stay put right where it's at. I didn't use my shim, so I'm gonna run it back and forth here and just hope that I got it. But this is one of those intricate dies where a shim could be very helpful. Looks like I got it just perfectly. Ooh, Paula, that's fun. Handmade cards with postage included. So you include the stamps for people to send the cards. I love that. And adding TE calendars. Tracy, you do calendars and gift tag sets. Awesome. Okay, so here we are with this die cut. I am eventually going to splatter it, but before I splatter it, I'm going to use the darker Sour Gummy ink with a bitty blender brush, and I'm just going to add a little bit of dimensional blending to the tops of this scene. Give it a little bit more glow. Bitty blender brushes are great for this step because you can really concentrate where you're adding the ink. And we're just going to get that tone on tone blend. Not quite tone on tone because I did choose the darker color ink to go over the Tropical Punch cardstock. But you could do tone on tone as well. All right. So that's finished, and we are going to do a little bit of splattering. So let me bring in my splatter box here. This splatter box got a workout this weekend at Stamp Joy. Okay, so I'm going to place both of these pieces down for the Cute Carton, and then we'll put the die cut nativity above that. Make sure you guys can see everything here. I have my acrylic block and my Dr. P.H. Martin's, the bleed proof white that I like to use for splattering. I'm just going to pull a little bit of that medium out of the jar and place it on my acrylic block. And then I'll get my eyedropper bottle here. It's just filled with water. And I'm going to put a couple drops of water. I put 3 drops of water on there, I think. So we'll go ahead and mix that around. The number of drops of water just depends on how much of that medium you took out of the jar with you. Okay. So I picked that up off of the acrylic block, and now I'm just going to take my paintbrush and kind of splatter it across. Tap it on my finger to release the splatters onto the cardstock. Of course, the bigger the paintbrush that you use, the bigger the splatters will be. So if you want thin splatters, or small splatters, I should say, use a smaller paintbrush. This is a 4, is the number of the paintbrush on this one. I'm gonna grab a baby wipe here and just wipe off my paintbrush so it doesn't crust on there while I'm finishing up. And then you can reconstitute this. So if it dries on your block and you put another extra drop of water with a little bit more medium the next time you use it, then you can keep using that. Or if you're cautious like me and you don't want to set your project in it, you can just wipe off the leftover. Okay, these are going to stay wet for just a bit here. So I'm going to set them aside. Here's what that die cut looks like with the splatters on it. So pretty. Tracy, you got all the nativity borders in your last order. We do have lots of options for that. And I did check to make sure that this one in particular was in stock and ready for you guys. So this one is just called Nativity Border, but there are some other options in there as well. Okay, so we've got these pieces. We're gonna let them dry, and I'm going to cut the vellum windows the vellum for behind the windows. So you could do acetate too. I like to do vellum because then you can't see the tea light inside the box. The vellum kind of diffuses that a little bit more. So I've got my paper trimmer here and just some excess vellum from my stash. I do need to keep these out of the way as they dry. Okay, so I'm going to take one of these boxes and just kind of hold it up to my grid mat here. And it looks like I need 2.5 inches would be the size. So I think if I did 2 inches by, that's about 2 3/4 of an inch. So if I just did 2.5 by 2.5, let's try that. Something I should have measured ahead of time, but I didn't, so you guys got to do that right along with me. So if we do 2.5 by 2.5, that's gonna fit just perfectly. Actually, maybe it's more like 2 by 2.5. Yes, that's what I did. 2 by 2.5 to fit behind those open windows in the box. So I need 4 windows. I have 2 cut. Two by 2.5. All right. So there they are. I'm trying to think what else can I do because I can see some of these splatters I got pretty large and they are not dry yet. So I think I've got my heat tool here. I'm just gonna hit this with a little bit of heat to help dry it a little bit faster so we can move on to assembling the box. Okay, I think that big drop, I just saw it dry, so we should be good there. The little ones were already dry. Let me see if I've got any big ones over on this one. Got a couple up here, make sure they are dry before we move on. Okay, so we'll go ahead and flip these over and put the windows behind the openings, or put the vellum behind the window openings. In case you missed it, somebody I saw was just asking again, the die that I used to cut the window in the front is called Pennant Stacklets, and I used the second smallest size. So I'm going to take this, just my adhesive runner to go around the outside of the windows. I like to use just a tape runner for this because then I don't have to worry about the liquid adhesive squirting out and ruining my pretty windows. All right, now we'll turn this one over and place these down. Ooh, we have gnomes on Mindy's desk today. Okay, I've got a little bit of adhesive on my placemat here, so we'll rub that off. And now it's time to assemble the box. So my first step when I have a 3D item is to use a bone folder to really get a good sharp crease on all of the score lines. So that's what I'm gonna do now. I'm gonna take my bone folder and just give it a good crease. That's why it's also important that you give your ink and your splatter time to dry, because you don't want to smear those as you're creasing all of your scores. Okay, then we got this one. This is going to fold kind of in this direction, like that, and then this will fold out this way and end up looking something about like that. So I think we got all the crease lines that we need on this side. Now let's do this one. Thank you, Amrita, for linking the pennant stacklets for everyone. Speaking of the pennant stacklets, I'll be using that actually this weekend for my daughter's birthday party banner. So another good use for that die. Okay. So here we are with the other half of the box coming together. Now, I know everybody has a different way of doing this. Honestly, I can't remember the way that Susan assembled the box, so we might have a little bit different way, but that's not a bad thing. So I'll show you my the way that I get this box together, what I feel is the easiest way to do that. So I'm gonna take and put a little bit of adhesive on the side here. I am again using this tape runner. I find the Scotch Permanent tape runner to hold really well, but you could use sticky tapes as well. I'd probably recommend the 1/4 inch sticky tape for these flaps. And then I'm just going to take the side of the box that doesn't have the flap on it, and we're going to adhere that over the top of the flap, just lining up the score lines so that they meet all the way across the box. And you have this one side, and your box is starting to take shape. Now we want to go ahead and adhere the other side. So I'm going to put some adhesive again across that flap. And then here's a little, an easy little tip. So I like to fold the box in half, and then you can fold this flap in and under, and then it should just meet up with the box on top. So your box should be able to just completely fold together flat like this. And then you've adhered both of your flaps perfectly. Now we can adhere the bottom, and again, lots of different ways you could do this. I end up just putting all 3 sides together, and then I take this 4th side and I put adhesive on the edge And then I'm gonna put my hand inside as I meet this up on the bottom. And I'm just gonna push from the inside to kind of adhere those together. So there we have our box. Our cute carton is almost finished. There are lots of ways that you can, of course, close this. I've seen some of the designers put a hole through the top and tie it with ribbon. I've seen some just put adhesive on these and kind of pinch it together. But like I said earlier, I wanted my box to be easy to open so that when you want to take that tea light in and out, you can easily open it up with these two little magnets that are attached to the kind of top flap of the box. So these are what the magnets look like. They are magnetic discs. You get 20 in a set, which means there's a plus and a minus. So you're actually getting 10 sets of magnets to use. I showed you guys on Tuesday how we used these with our gift card wallet as a closure for that. So lots of great uses for these magnetic discs. I always keep a pack. You can see this one's almost done. I think with the end of today's video, it's going to be time to get me a new pack. But we are just going to grab a minus and a plus. And then I'm going to take the side with the plus and the minus on it, I'm going to join the other side together. So they should, if it is a plus and a minus, they should click together just like that. So you have the minus on one side and the plus on one side. And then we're going to remove the backing paper. So these are self-adhesive. There's a strong adhesive on the backing for each of these magnetic pieces. And it does take a little bit, even a die pick could help you with this step, kind of getting that paper piece off and revealing the adhesive behind it. So once you have that, I'm just going to stick that down to one side of the flap. And then I'm going to do one for the other side. So I liked using two, one on each side. I felt like it was a little bit more sturdy than just one in the center, kind of kept the ends flapping a little bit. So in order to close it nicely, I am going to add another set of magnets on the other side of the flap. I'm still getting used to my new nails, or having dip on my nails again. Takes some getting used to. Okay, so we're gonna put that other one down on the other side of the flap. It's almost like they were made for this. They fit perfectly on the flap there. And then we're gonna meet up these two flaps and just press them really tightly together. We're gonna hold those in place. Lisa says, I used light hold Velcro dots when making wedding favor mini lanterns for my daughter's wedding. That's a great idea. Whitney says, I love these so much, I'm hoping I get one. Hint, hint, right, sister? Okay, so if these are well adhered, it might take some curing time, but it looks like they each met up with their sides. So we've got two magnets on each side. I don't put any adhesive in here so that I can get into the box more easily. But if you were making it for a treat box and you wanted to adhere this flap to the side, you could do that as well. All right, so let's close that up, and we're going to finish this project off by putting our nativity. You get to decide now what you want to be the front of your box. I wanted to see the peak of the box, so that means either this side or this side is going to be the front. So I'll look at both of those. I think I like this one where the splatters are a little bit better. And then we're going to take this. I wanted the nativity to fall right over that window, so I just kind of hold it up there. You can even cut a little bit of extra off the bottom if you want it to come down a little bit. I think I do want mine to come down just a touch so that star falls right at the top of the window. So I'm actually going to take and I'll put a mark on the back of this just so I know about how much I want to cut off the bottom. Line that up. Hold it in place really tightly. Okay. Now, if I line up the bottom of my die cut with my nativity, the star falls right within the window. And I'm going to just fold over the sides on the box. And then when you take it off, you can give it a little bit better crease if you want. Okay, and I did want this to sit up off of the box just slightly to give it some more dimension. So I have my foam tape roll here, and I'm just gonna cut some foam tape to fit on the back here, and then we'll adhere it down, and we're gonna be all done. Mindy says, I was gonna throw out there that I wouldn't mind the pink one for my craft room. Oh, here's the pink one again. I know I didn't show it for very long, but there's what that one looks like. So I used the Nordic Snowflake was the stencil on that one. And then this is the set of dies called Tiny Town, which is perfect for building a little scene behind the window. And then when the lights are off, it glows behind there. I think it's so adorable. Of course, you guys saw the bows earlier in the video today that I used. I used magnets again to close it. There's my little tea light that tipped over there. And then the windows on this one, I used our inside scallop square stacklets. So you can see they have a scallop design to them, and another fun option for the windows on these little votive holders. All right, scissors. Got a couple here. I just want to make sure that I don't put foam tape on the actual fold or across the fold line, because that will make it difficult to fold it around the box. All right. Couple pieces down here. Then I have to get the backing paper off of these pieces. And then I'm gonna set you all free to do your own crafting today. Whatever projects you've got on your desk, hopefully some time to get creative. And I'm gonna go get started on an upcoming release. Super excited. We did a brainstorm recently, and I think this one's going to be a fun one. Something we have not done for years. I looked up the last time we did a release like this that we're going to be doing, and it was 2016. Crazy. Okay, so now we're going to peel all the little pieces. I know this part, watching this part is probably like watching paint dry. Oh, thanks, Tracy. She says we have the best gift with purchase items. When we come up with these products that are free with purchase, we do really try to think of what you're going to be crafting for during the time that we're giving this away. And this particular freebie was just so perfect for all the gift giving seasons. You know, for Halloween, we're giving candy and treats, and then we move into Thanksgiving, and maybe you're doing like table favor boxes. And then we come right into Christmas where, you know, we're all wrapping gifts, and making little treats for friends and coworkers and grandkids. So this little box was well timed as a freebie. Whoops. Okay, so I want to get this centered right inside that window. Got it. We're going to press down tape, move this around the side, put those little guys in place, and then over here.
It's gorgeous.
Did you like my project today?
I wanted to come steal it before you try to take it.
Before I take it somewhere?
Uh-huh.
All right, well, there's still lots of things you could do to kind of embellish these. I was thinking a little gold star up here on top of the nativity scene would be pretty. I'm gonna turn on my little light here. We've got so many lights in this studio, it's gonna be hard to see these, but when we turned the lights off this morning and watched these glow, can you guys see the light in there? I think you can kind of see it. It's like a flickering warm glow behind the vellum. I think it's so pretty. All right, so there's my little cute cartons, and I'm gonna come back to you here for just a second before I head out for today. All right, you guys, thank you for tuning in today and joining me for the live. I hope we had fun. I had fun crafting with all of you. Hopefully you're feeling inspired. We would love to see your projects that you make, so come share them on the fan page, especially as we all get busy during this holiday season. We love to see what you're making. So hope to see you there, and then I will see you on Tuesday for a new release of products. So this is something we've been working on for quite a while, and I'm so excited to share it with you guys. So I will be here Tuesday at 10 a.m. normal time. So we'll see you then. Have a great